Look. These are pine nuts. Imported pine nuts from China. Yeah. Look at them, see? Whoops. Pine nuts from China. Imported. Have to be brought all the way to Australia from China. And I'm in Australia. And this is a very drought-resistant Pinus pinea from Europe. Now, Greek people make all sorts of delicious food, savoury and, yes, sweet too. Those sweet cakes contain pine nuts. Are they called baklavas or something? Those sweet Greek cakes? They're full of pine nuts. So this is a Pinus pinea from my yard. Very drought resistant. Of course, it would probably catch on fire like a pine tree, but it's from what you get pine nuts. There's a type of American pine tree too that the Indians used for some other type of pine tree. But this is Pinus pinea from Europe, and there is a sort of pine nut tree in America. But here is some. It's called a stone pine. It's a common name, a stone pine or umbrella pine. It does have a sort of umbrella-ish shape when it grows, so it's also called an umbrella pine. Nice tree. And here's a pine cone. You put the pine cones in front of a fire when they're ripe. You pick the pine cones, put them in front of the fireplace, and these blades open up. These blades, this is a rather old one that I picked up off the ground, but these blades open up. I don't want to drop all the bits of pine into the computer keyboard. Let's see if we can find a nut inside it. I did see one earlier. Oh, look, there's one. That's why they're called a stone pine. Look, it looks just like a stone. If you drop it, it's like a stone too. But if you crack that with a hammer, you'll find a pine nut like these ones in the jar. If you want to germinate them too, it's best if you make a bit of a crack in them. Just a bit of a crack and soak them overnight. But excellent. I mean, there's, yes, stone pine. Well, they do look just like stones. And when you clink them too, if you clink them with another one, they just sound like stones. Yes, are there more? Yes, there's another one. The cockatoos like them. They feel just like stones and they look just like stones. This one's been on the ground, so they're rotting a little bit. The cone's rotting. But there's definitely pine nuts here, yes. So, why would you cart all these? Why would you cart all these from China when you can just grow them in Australia, in our backyards? All the streets, all the highways could be have these. I mean, as it is, there's huge pine plantations of radiata pine grown for wood and that sort of thing. So there you are. Look, pine nuts. So you have to think about, you know, everyone's talking about carbon footprints nowadays, aren't they? So think about why you would bring all these from China, and when you can just have them in Australia. This is my Pinus pinea, my stone pine tree. I planted it from a seed. It doesn't have any cones on it at the moment, but it's the tree from which you get the European sort of pine nuts from. Look how big it is. The cockatoos like pine nuts too. They do. If you buy stuffed vine leaves from a cafe, a Greek cafe, they'll be full of pine nuts like these ones, Pinus pinea. Very drought hardy tree. Beautiful pine nuts. You put the pine cones in front of a fire and the pine cone will open up slowly and the nuts will fall out. Pinus pinea. This one doesn't have any cones on it at the moment. I'll have to give it some more water.